Hello, this is Angelo with your Project Next Accelerator bonus, and this is Digital Growth Masterclass number 16. Today we have set up some time to answer your questions, the questions that are actually the obstacles between where you are and where you want to go with Project Next. So, question number one, I still cannot choose my dot. Well, right now you are at what I like to call the empty parking lot syndrome. And that means that when you enter a parking and you have like one parking spot left, you just go there, park in a few seconds time and you're done. But if you have many options or if you have like a completely empty parking lot, you feel that you're indecisive and you don't know which way to go. Should I go there, park there? That is actually closer to the entrance of the mall, or should I park there that is closer to the exit of the parking lot so that I can, leave easier later on? So the answer to this question is just pick. Just go. Either way is fine because as you move along inside the game, getting started, it is easier for you to see everything much clearer. I studied mechanical engineering and I am here. I couldn't possibly draw a line between, the university and here. This is how important it is for you to get started because as you get started and you create leads and you create value and you create sales and you create income and you make a difference, then you create momentum. And as you create momentum, you can create as many digital products as you wish. You can turn as many ways as you wish, left, right, or up, down. You can do whatever you want with your life and business while you have momentum. If you are indecisive and if you're there, you start to get sluggish. You start asking yourself, did I spend so much time and so much money on Project Next and, watching the videos and doing the exercises and so on. It makes no sense. So let's say like you have like two dots that really matter to you. Like I have mindset and digital marketing, right? Okay, so either you just write each one of them on a small piece of paper on a post-it note, or you can do this exercise mentally. Okay, so you hold one on each hand and you ask yourself, which one am I ready to let go right now? Okay, and you will feel that one of the two is, let's say, less important in your life, less significant for you to put your attention, your time, your energy, your money to make it grow and create value in that direction. For example, for me, I know that I can if I had to choose right now, I can let go of digital marketing, but I cannot let go of mindset. I cannot help myself, you know, having someone telling me that I have this obstacle and I cannot get there and not being of value to them. If this still does not work for you, ask yourself, let's say choose one, like flip a coin or throw a dart in the dartboard that you have these two pieces of paper. Okay? And let's say you go with choice A. Do you feel lighter or heavier that you made that choice? Your body will tell you if this is the way to go. But what really matters, and this is something that you should take at heart and start today, is to get started. Because the sooner that you get started, the sooner you will have some momentum, and the sooner you have more information for you to make an even better choice. Okay, many people were on the fence, for example, with Project Next. Since you are here, you're not on the fence, you are a Project Next member. What I was telling to these people back then, because there was this like 30-day money back guarantee, don't try to guess if it works for you. If you have the opportunity to like make the payment and move on, make the payment. See for yourself if it is the right fit for you. Go through the first few modules that you could do within the 30-day period, and you will see if it is actually for you. So instead of like guessing, get going, and you will find the answers. You will find the missing parts that will give you the right direction. Question number two. I cannot find a catchy title or subtitle for my product or for my webinar and so on. And I have a very simple model that I use because I was really, like very into my mind and, my thinking was very complex, let's say. And I was thinking more like an engineer and less like a marketer. And what I have is what I call the KISS model. Keep it simple and sweet. KISS. So all you need is a kiss, and that's it. You need to keep everything simple and sweet. Let's say right now you have your client is someone who wants to lose weight, okay? Don't try and talk to them about the benefits of better nutrition or this, that, or the other. Focus on the task at hand. What is actually the number one desire of your soulmate and the number one problem they are facing right now that you can be of value to them? So, always remember that your client is at point A right now and wants to go to point B, where your product or service takes them to, right? Or in that case, where your digital product takes them to. So this title is basically this promise. And I also have another very important, let's say, and very valuable solution to title making, to creating like catchy punchlines and so on. Look and observe and study the persistent ads on the internet. So if you see an ad that is going for months, it means it's successful. Nobody would pay, for months and, like be in the red. It is definitely a successful ad. So if you see a persistent ad, you know, that this is a catchy punchline. This is a catchy visual and so on. This is a nice way to go. And always remember, since the attention span in digital marketing is in the digital space is very limited, you want to be as, like laconic and use as few words as possible. Keep it simple and sweet. Question number three. I just can't go on camera. Okay. So I've heard someplace many years ago that the fear of public speaking is even greater than the fear of dying, which is insane actually. But the thing is, the fear of public speaking, speaking on camera is one way, one form of public speaking if you think about it. So right now, I'm speaking on camera, but there is like many people watching me on that video. So that, it is a form of public speaking. And maybe it is even worse because since I cannot see you, my mind can create like negative projections of how you respond to what I'm saying. So right now you might say like Angelo is a genius, or you might say like Angelo is an idiot. And usually our minds will default to the worst of these two situations. So what I suggest you do is again, like I told you with question number one, get started. Are you afraid to do video? Are you reluctant, like to make the next step? Okay, you can do an audio then, right? Or you can create a webinar with slides. We cannot see you. Slides. And you can practice again and again and again. And this is like point number three on that question. Just get started and just get going. I still remember my first webinar. I mean, I put all my energy and the webinar was a bit less than an hour. I was at the end of this webinar, I was so satisfied that I did it. It was like, as I said before, it was a webinar with slides. I didn't have like the proper setting to do a video. And back then I was reluctant as well to do it, but I did it with slides. And at the end of this webinar, I had this big smile of success. I finished, I pressed the button and now I am offline. It is, the feeling was amazing, like I did my first webinar. And What I always do next is actually watch my webinar and keep notes. This is what I did from webinar number 1. And I press play and there's no sound. And I thought, like, this cannot be happening to me. And I remember back then the webinar was at 7 p.m. So at that moment was about, a few minutes before 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m. I was depleted. I felt like I was about to faint from all, the energy I put into this webinar. And I did the webinar again. And I realized from day one that the only way to get better is to do it again and again and again and again. But not only do more videos, more webinars, and so on, but be a student of your attitude. Be a student of right now, I have some, I have a certain level of audio, of lighting, and so on. What can I do better next time? Okay, what can I do better? Like with my notes, should I have like more notes or less notes? Should I have them in writing or in printed? If it is printed, should I be in bigger font so that I don't like spend a lot of time looking at my notes and so on? All these little details, and also if I repeat something that I don't like to say on camera, like the or whatever that is, I used to do that. Now I find myself doing less and less and less because I am practicing. And maybe my level of presentation is not yet as good as it is in my Greek speaking webinars that I've done like hundreds of them, but still I can tell you for sure that if you go back to masterclass number 1, this one is better. Just a tad maybe, but it's better. You know, even my attitude, my stance, my level of confidence in conveying my value to you is better because I've done it again and again. So, next, I don't have a fancy studio equipment, right? My question to you, I will answer with another question. Do you have a fancy message and a burning desire to convey it? That is all you need. So don't hide yourself behind, like excuses like this. Gandhi didn't have a fancy studio. Mandela didn't have a fancy studio. Martin Luther King didn't have a fancy studio. They had a fancy message and a burning desire to share it. This is all you need. The answers will be found along the way. And when you have the purchasing power of Tony Robbins, you will too have the opportunity to have a 5 million studio with Retina, 360 displays, and so on that you have experienced in, maybe in UPW or the On Your Future Challenge and so on. This is how it works. We progress. And remember what Jenna Kutcher said back then. Always remember that your audience they don't want to see you perfect. They want to see you grow. They want to see you evolve. This is what matters. Next, I don't have any sales yet. And then what follows, actually, this is not a question, but I get it. Okay. This is like a sigh of frustration or maybe disappointment and so on. And I get it. But let me ask you this. Can you answer honestly the previous question that you have like a very fancy message and a burning desire to share it? If the answer is yes, sales can wait for a while. And what I mean by that is, by any chance, I'm not saying that you should not have sales today. What I'm saying is that the better your message and the better the way you convey your message becomes, the more sales you'll have for sure. Because it's all a matter of product and marketing. This is all we need. It took me years to understand, to just get that all you need is a product and marketing, a better product and better marketing. Actually, a couple of days ago, I watched the presentation of Apple on iPhone 13, and it was like it's just a better product and just like some optimization on their marketing, and that's about it. And by the way, from this presentation, I want to give you a tip, and I want you to keep that tip. As we move along, we will need to be able to present whatever we want to say in shorter periods of time, because the attention span goes down and people will not give you hours and hours for you to convey your message. And this is why the point I made before on practicing is very important. You want to be able to be as laconic, as we say in Greek, as possible. Laconic means that you're using the least words possible, the least attitude possible to convey your message and actually create this difference in the people's minds. So, if you don't have any sales yet, I will give you three very important tips. The number one, you want to focus on your emotional mastery, which means that you cannot be disheartened by a failure when you get started. You want to be able to propel yourself up the emotional ladder and be able to forgive yourselves for maybe for the mistakes that you've done, forgive your team for the mistakes that they've done. Find gratitude in the teachings that you got from your failures. Find find other reasons to be grateful for. Be grateful for the journey. Be grateful for the fact that you have a burning desire and a destination calling you and drawing you like a magnet. And from that emotional state, focus on step number two, which is your vision, your end result. See yourself and feel yourself at the destination, even though you have zero sales yet. And number three, these three simple steps. Number three, optimize. That's all you have to do today. Optimize, change something. And remember, we have what we call on-site optimization. So maybe you can change your subject, and off-site optimization. Maybe you can change your targeting on your Facebook or Google or YouTube ads. And that's it. Number one, keep your spirits high. Number two, keep your eyes at the destination. At the destination. See yourself at the destination. Understand what this does to your whole body. And number three, optimize. This is all you have to do. Nobody started with all the answers. Remember, Tony Robbins reserved a 500 people ballroom for his first event. And if I remember correctly, he had 7 people. I am sure he does not want to relive that experience, okay? But he did it again and again. He optimized. He hired better people. He found, like better ways to do his marketing. He also expanded a few years back, like to digital marketing when his whole business collapsed because of COVID. And one seminar was getting canceled after the other. He found another way. So it's not like a red carpet to success, it's more like a bumpy road. And this road is definitely, like going upward, as I said many times before, because otherwise we would be full of millionaires, like uh, you will be bumping into millionaires all the time, and $1 million launches. Why is not that? Because the road to success is something that you need to put your time and energy and evolve and optimize and get better and better and better. This is how it's done. Nobody else, like even if you were like, you had like a firework, as we call it, like overnight success, you will find yourself that since you don't know how you did it in the first place, it cannot be repeated. So again, maybe you had a good year and then back to normal, back to the medium years, back to the average. That's about it. Next, it takes too long to create my product. It's okay. Maybe it's your first product. Maybe you have like your core job that you're working and this is like your side project. Maybe you're not putting too much time and too much energy. Maybe you have like 4 children to take care as you create your product. I understand that. But this does not mean that you cannot create your marketing and start your marketing and optimize your marketing right now. So even if your product is not ready yet, and even if it takes much longer than you expected, still put time and energy on your marketing. Create awareness, create attractiveness, become more attractive as a person to your audience, and also in terms of your dot, in terms of what you, how you present yourself in the marketplace. For example, maybe I do not have a launch in mind for myself in the mindset space, all right? But this does not mean that, like I am putting myself, like out of the social media and I'm disappearing. I'm sending an email every single day, even though there is no launch in sight right now. Isn't that amazing? And I do this for almost 7 years now. And when the launch arrives, my audience is ready and right to receive it because I have given value. I have expressed myself. People know what to expect from me and my products and services. I am more attractive to them than I was 7 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 1 year ago, or 1 week ago, depending on when they signed up to my list. And this is what matters. Always know your game. Your game is to create better products and better marketing. That's about it. Last question. I am not happy with my videos. Okay, so I already give you an insight, like after you finish your video or your webinar, you watch it and become the student of this webinar. What could I do better next time? But let me give you some other insights as well. One very important insight is that you always want to invest some time and attention before your webinar, your video, to attune yourself. So what I do, I bring you in my mind in the best way that I can. And I see myself giving so much value to you that you actually overcome your obstacles and you actually reach your destination with your digital product. And I try to pump more energy on that feeling and more energy to the point that I feel ready, like I can go now, like I am unstoppable and ready to do my webinar, and then I know I am ready to get started. So this process might take you like 10 minutes, it could take you 5 minutes. In the beginning, it used to take me like 30 minutes to set myself, to get myself ready for a webinar, mentally and emotionally. But it was worth it. And the other tip that I want to give you, we have 3 tips. Number 1 is this primer. Number 2, become a student. What I said before, become a student of your webinar or your video. And number 3, you want to create as much energy as possible around this video with your intro and your outro. So remember, maybe in the middle of a video or a webinar, we could have like what we call like a dip, right? We lose our attention watching something. Maybe right now we're at about 23 minutes. Maybe I've lost you for a couple of minutes or whatever. Maybe the phone rang and I lost your attention for a moment. The point is that the stronger the intro and the outro is, the more powerful your video is, the best converting your video or your webinar will be. You want to take care of your intro and your outro, and then you can optimize the middle as much as possible with practice and with progress. But your intros and your outros, what you want them to be, like very specific, very powerful. And always remember that if you practice them outside of, your video sequences and your webinars, they will come to you like it will be like breathing to you when the time comes. This is what you want, to have a powerful intro and outro depending on what you're doing. For instance, when I'm doing like a public webinar, I always end up with the same punchline, the punchline that is like my signature punchline, right? You always deserve what you want, and we all deserve your best self. I don't know, I've said it like millions of times. You know, always remember that you deserve your best self, and we all deserve, you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. This is like, for me, is like breathing. It is so powerful to me to end up with this message, because within this punchline is how I feel emotionally about my soulmate, how I feel emotionally about you, about helping you to get where you want to go. Also, remember that if you're not covered with all these questions, post your question for the next Q&A webinar, because remember that the moment you have like a question, you have like an obstacle, and you know it's there, and you don't get the answers, you get sluggish, and you let go some of the momentum that you have created. So don't leave anything unanswered. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you get as easy and as fast as possible to your destination with your next digital product. See you next week. Ciao, ciao.